So we've all been there, right? You're using an AI to generate some text, but have you ever wondered about that hidden control panel that's actually shaping its answers? Well, today, we're pulling back the curtain on inference parameters. These are the secret settings that let you dial in everything from an AI's creativity all the way down to its precision.
Now you might be asking, why do we even need these controls? It's because of this really strange paradox. The very researchers who came up with the key method we'll talk about later, called Nucleus Sampling, found something weird. If you just tell an AI to pick the most likely word every single time, the result isn't brilliant. It's what they call degeneration. The text just becomes bland, repetitive, and honestly, it feels off. And we've all seen this happen, right? You're having a great chat with an AI, and then bam, out of nowhere, it starts repeating itself or just goes completely off the rails. That failure isn't random. It is a direct result of how the AI is being told to choose its words.
To really get a handle on these controls, we first need to understand the game the AI is playing. Because at its core, a large language model doesn't think like we do. It's playing this massive probability game, constantly betting on which word should come next.
This is the fundamental mechanic of the whole thing. For every single word it generates, the model looks at the text it's already written, and then it calculates the odds for every single word in its huge vocabulary. We're talking tens of thousands of options to be the very next one.
This slide helps you picture what's going on inside the AI's brain. If the sentence is, "The cat climbed up the AI might say, okay, there's a 50% chance the next word is tree, maybe a 25% chance it's roof. It's sorting this huge list of possibilities. The control knobs we're about to talk about are how we decide to pick from that list.
All right, first up is the most famous knob of them all, temperature. The best way to think of it is as the AI's creativity or risk dial. It doesn't actually change the options on the list, but it totally changes how much the AI cares about the odds.
So how does this actually work? Well, under the hood, before the final probabilities are set, the model gives every word a kind of internal confidence score. By cranking up the temperature, you're basically telling the model to flatten those scores out, making the long shots and the wildcard options seem a lot more attractive. A low temperature does the opposite. It makes the obvious choice even more obvious.
And this table shows the effect perfectly. At a normal temperature, the word treats is the overwhelming favorite. I mean, look at that, almost 100%. But crank the temperature way up, and those probabilities get flattened. Suddenly, the underdog words become much more competitive. The AI is now being encouraged to take a risk.
In practice, this is the difference you get. Ask for beach activities at a low temperature, you get the predictable, top-of-the-list answers. High temp, it starts suggesting spontaneous sand fights and blowing bubblegum in the water. It's more creative, for sure, more random, and, yeah, sometimes a little weird.
Okay, so temperature adjusts the odds, but what if we want to just limit the options altogether? That's where our next two parameters come in. Think of them as two different strategies for filtering the AI's choices before it even makes a pick. First, you've got top K. This is the simple, straightforward approach. You just set a number, let's call it K, and the AI is only allowed to choose from the top K most likely words. If K is 50, it doesn't matter what else is out there, everything but the top 50 is just ignored. Then we have top P, which you'll also hear called Nucleus Sampling. This is the more adaptive, smart menu approach. Instead of a fixed number of options, you give it a probability budget P. The AI then picks the most likely words one by one until their combined probability hits that budget you set. And this slide right here is exactly why top P is so powerful. Look at the peak distribution on the right. This is when the AI is super confident about the next word. Top P creates this tiny, focused menu of just a few choices. Perfect. But now look at the flat distribution on the left. Here, the AI is uncertain. A fixed top K would be a huge problem. It's either going to be too small and cut off good ideas, or too big and let in junk. But top P, it dynamically expands the menu to include all the reasonable choices. It just adapts. So how does it actually do this? Well, it's a pretty neat 5-step process. The model gets its probabilities and sorts them from most to least likely. Then it starts adding them up from the top until their combined probability hits the number you set, say 90%. That small group becomes the nucleus. The odds are then recalculated just within that group, and the final word is picked from there. So the bottom line is this. Top K is static. It uses a fixed size menu every single time. Top P is dynamic.
the menu size expands and shrinks based on how confident the AI is in that specific moment. This adaptability is the key, and it's why Top P generally gives you more coherent, high-quality text. It's the go-to for most modern systems.
Okay, so let's put this all together. Now that you know what all the dials do, how do you actually set them to get the results you want? Think of this next part as your AI user manual.
Here's a great little cheat sheet for you. If you're doing something like creative writing or brainstorming, you want to crank up the temperature in Top P. That encourages risk-taking in a wide range of ideas. But for something precise, like summarizing facts or generating code, you want to dial them way down to keep the output predictable and on topic.
And here is a fantastic pro tip from the experts. As you're playing around with this, only adjust temperature or Top P at one time, not both. They are both so powerful that if you change both and get a weird result, you'll have no idea which knob was responsible. Pick one, get a feel for it, and then you can start experimenting further.
Now, these tools are incredibly powerful, but this field is not standing still. Researchers are already building on these concepts to create even smarter ways to guide how AIs generate text.
For example, one promising new method is called min-p sampling. It takes that dynamic idea of Top P and kicks it up a notch. It doesn't just look at the probability budget, it also looks at how confident the AI is in its single best option. So if the AI is really sure about its top pick, min-p gets very strict, which helps prevent weird results even at high temperatures. It's an even smarter way to balance creativity and quality. So, what's the key takeaway from all this? Simple. Temperature is your creativity dial. Top K and Top P are your filters. One is fixed, one is adaptive. And most importantly, these aren't just for developers. You now have the controls to shape the AI's output.
By understanding these parameters, you can go from just being a passive user to being an active director of your AI. You can shape its output for literally any task you can think of. The control panel is yours now. So the only question left is, what will you create?